On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, got to talk a little bit about that rookie mini camp. Who stood out? Who were the stars? We got to talk about the Denver Broncos kicking off Monday Night Football for the 2026 season and much, much more. We'll get all into it. Let's get this started right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. Man, Broncos country, you can smell it. Maybe it's because the grass got mowed outside, but you can smell it. It's in the air, man. Broncos minicamp kicking off. I'm your host. My name is Keith Brugman. I've been missing from a podcast or two. I apologize. Lots of big things going on behind the scenes for me, but I'm here. I want to talk some Broncos football, and I got the man, the OG, the judge himself, Jody Moncrief. Welcome to the show, man. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you. Excited to talk Broncos. Should have a good show here. Kind of that dead time in Broncos country, but we always find good topics to talk about. And tomorrow schedule comes out, so excited for that as well.
Yeah. Can't wait to talk about the schedule. We have a little bit of the schedule to talk about, especially when it comes to the Denver Broncos. We got a little bit to talk about when it comes to Broncos minicamp, who was there, who participated, who maybe even got signed afterwards. We got a little bit of I still got to keep bringing this up, Jody. Got a little bit to talk about Bo Nix as well. So I don't know. For me, let's get this started with the most recent news, I think. Let's talk about Monday Night Football, man. September 14th, the Denver Broncos get back not only to play in Monday Night Football like the Denver Broncos always should. I mean, it should be a staple every single year. But we're kicking off Monday Night Football for the 2026 season, September 14th. Now, there was some wavering. It took a little while. We found out this is going to be an away game at Kansas City. What are your thoughts around this announcement, this schedule, this start of the Denver Broncos season, kicking it off on Monday Night Football away at Kansas City?
I'm kind of on the fence on it. I think, after an AFC title appearance without your quarterback, I think you probably deserve a home opener. But on the other side of it, I look at it like you're getting Kansas City in their place week one. Mahomes coming off, the knee injury. I don't know that he's going to – if he plays, my guess is he's not going to be 100%. So that's probably a bonus for you to get him early, get that win, get that out of the way early. Play him before he's 100%. So I think that's a bonus for you. Get the Kansas City game out of the way quick. So, and I'm excited. I mean, Monday Night Football, the first week of the season. I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna say I'm super excited about this, man. Yes, the one thing that we'll have to look at in context is how healthy is Patrick Mahomes? Will we see Justin Fields? How healthy is Bo Nix? And we want everything to go right during the rest of this offseason, but all of that is to be determined for both of these quarterbacks. So it is a comeback story for two NFL quarterbacks. I feel Bo Nix is obviously, we can talk about that in a moment, on schedule and looking pretty good. But putting all that aside, you get not a home opener. You get a Monday Night Football game, one of the most exciting venues, one of the most exciting games you can play in. Forget Thursday night football, forget Sunday night football. We're talking Monday night football. This is an away game, yes, but I'm telling you, the excitement, the energy, the first game, it's not going to feel like an away game like it would mid-season, in my opinion. And lastly, the reason I love this the most, let's go ahead and get the away game with the Kansas City Chiefs in week 1. Guess what that means? They had to come to our house. And whether that be midweek, late in the year, week 17, in order to make the playoffs, it's on our turf coming down the stretch. I like the way this lines up. I just think that we're going to come out juiced up, ready to go. I don't care if it's the Chiefs at home. It's Monday Night Football. It's the beginning of the season. It's all eyes on us. I can't wait for it, man. I think it's a fantastic start to the NFL season and the Denver Broncos season.
And I will add everything I said. I'm not scared to play Kansas City, and I don't think Denver is either. They've beat them 3 of the last 4 times. You know, Bo Nix is 3-1 versus Kansas City, so he's not afraid to play them either. So I don't think that Denver at all fears Kansas City. So healthy Patrick Mahomes or not, they've got bigger ambitions than beating Kansas City, in my opinion.
Yeah, bigger ambitions than beating Kansas City. It's just one step, but it's the first step. And let's face it, we all need to get off. We talk about it every single year. We need to get off to a fast start. We can't stumble. We need to, we don't want to be 3-4 games in and being wondering what's this team and can they get it on track, which it seems like this has been a piece of the Denver Broncos teams even since Sean Payton has taken over. We have not been fantastic, but for me, maybe you do get that opportunity for Patrick Mahomes not to be himself. Maybe you get that opportunity that he's not even out there. But even putting that aside, I love the excitement, the electricity, and what the Denver Broncos can do. Let's face it, I think everybody is going to agree, at least on this podcast, that the Denver Broncos should be the number 1 team in the AFC West, hands down. The Chiefs are now looking up to the Denver Broncos at this point. And I think let's go in there and let's show them who's boss, like we have before. Like you said, Bo Nix has done fantastic against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree that Denver should be, the favorite in the AFC West. And I think in my opinion, it's kind of a wide margin over Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City got better this offseason. They lost both their starting cornerbacks. They lost their starting right tackle. Their left tackle didn't play well last year, or their left guard. So Kansas City has a lot of question marks. So if it were me, I don't fear Kansas City. And I think Denver, if this Davis Webb calling plays move pans out, I think a lot of people are going to fear playing Denver.
100%, Jody. 100%, man. It's funny. I think in years past, we try to hype each other up or hype ourselves up or hype up the fan base about what we think the expectations could be for, or what we think the possibilities could be for this Denver Broncos team. That's all fallen by the wayside now. This is truly a team that is on the cusp of doing just about whatever they want in this league and take themselves to Super Bowl, this year and potentially in the future as well. I got to say hello to some good friends in the chat, and I just got to apologize right now. I'm like surfing comments all over the place. I'm not even seeing this one, but I'm seeing it here in the chat, and it's Mr. Michael Ronquillo saying, good evening, Kenny and Jody. Uh-oh. Man, I'm starting to look old. I'm starting to look Kenny old. Uh-oh. I'm starting to look like I'm a Giants fan. I don't know what's happening on here. Just to let you know, I love Lee Hunter. I'm just kidding. Good evening. Go Bo Broncos. He says he's got the blue and the orange heart. He's got that mile-high salute. And I salute you, Michael Ronquillo. Good to see you, my friend. Our good friend Paul coming in. Paul saying, how's it going, Hostman? I love the schedule release. Love this Monday Night Football. I also love the fact, and I'm not saying I don't want to be part of the expansion of what the NFL is doing as far as expanding the NFL, but I'm glad we're not in Australia or London or Germany or who knows where else we're going to be next, Mexico City. That takes a toll on teams, man. And to know that we're not going to have to participate necessarily this year, man, I do like that. I'll say that, Paul. I don't know what your thoughts are on the international games, Jody. I mean, I love that we're expanding. We're expanding it by market, not necessarily by adding teams at this point, but trying to get more eyes on the NFL.
I'm not the biggest fan of them, but it sounds like when we go to 18 games next year, that everyone will play an overseas game. So enjoy it while you can, not having to play it this year.
Yeah. Agreed, man. It's 18 games overseas. It'll be interesting once we go to 18 games, what other concessions potentially are made. There's been a lot of speculation around that. Got no speculation around Phil McLaughlin coming in here and always supporting the show. He says, "Good evening, Keith and Judge. Welcome back, Keith. Good to be back, Phil. Appreciate it." He says, "Going to be fun seeing KC in their house on Monday Night Football." Yeah, it's going to be a rocking place. It always is, man. It's a rocking place, and figuring that you haven't lost a game, and it's an AFC West division opponent. It's Monday Night Football. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to be ready to go, and that place is going to be rock. And I just, like Jody said, man, if we have faith in our Broncos, and there's no reason we shouldn't. I don't fear Kansas City like I did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where it was like, I don't know how we're going to do it. Their defense is good here, and their offense is amazing no matter what. And it seems like that's starting to fall a little bit, man. The Broncos have risen up, of course. So a few more hellos. They said if they're smart, they will sit Mahomes week 1, says Paul. That would be, I think it's too early to tell, in my opinion. Jody, what are your thoughts, man? It's like 9 months to the day, I think, since Patrick Mahomes, went down with the injury. It's going to be a quick turnaround. I remember when Adrian Peterson did it miraculously, you know what I mean, within a season's worth of time. You're asking Patrick Mahomes to do something similar. Is it too much? Should they be considering sitting him week 1?
I'm pretty surprised that the NFL put them in prime time week 1, this big of a, division matchup and the type of thing week 1, especially with both quarterbacks coming off injury. I'm not worried about Bo. I think he'll be ready, but Mahomes, whether he's out there or not, there's no way for me to believe that he's going to be 100%. So I'm really surprised that they put this game 1, and that's why I said earlier I'm excited for that. That's a win for Denver. Take it how you can get it.
Man, he's already putting scores up on the scoreboard behind me. He's chalking up W's, everybody. I love it, though, man. TW is coming in and says our defense must feast early in that game. Yeah, I mean, especially early in the season, offenses are rusty. Defenses have the opportunity to shine. And when you start talking about a defense shining, the Denver Broncos are among the brightest that can shine, especially on a night like Monday Night Football. I just, that's a feared defense. Nobody wants to go up against our defense. It was us. It was Houston last year. Those were the two teams that were like, we don't want to play those guys. We don't want to play those guys. So Michael Ronquillo saying that we'll have a home game on Christmas Day. I don't know if that's good leaked information or just a hope and a wish. That would be awesome, though. That would be pretty cool, too. Keith Stober coming in saying, good evening, gentlemen. Looking like a good schedule, he says. Yeah. We'll end up going over the entire schedule. It'll be fun to do. Vic, it's good to see you. Yo, good to see you, my friend. Vic coming in over on YouTube. A lot of people saying we're already See, look what you started, Jody. Chalking up W's, and we're already getting our predictions for the game coming in from Vic over on YouTube. 23-16 Broncos. I'm surprised we don't have Ernie in here talking scores and big scores from the Denver Broncos as well. The Broncos wouldn't play on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs if Patrick Mahomes wasn't coming back for that NFL game, says Michael Ronquillo. I think it's a huge projection though. Lot of off season still to go. You know what I mean? We've seen setbacks from some of the best athletes. You know, knock on wood, I want everyone to be healthy because I'd love to be able to take down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, rather than having an excuse that it was Justin Fields. We can go do it. Either way, man. Either way.
Yeah, and that's why I'm surprised that, like you said, the simple setback or any sort of thing. And, you know, look at Greenlaw. They thought he was going to be back week 1, and we put him on PUP to miss the first 4 games. So,
yeah.
I mean, have at it, Kansas City. If you want to rush him back and get him on Monday Night Football and he's not 100%, I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's just too tough to project, man. It's too tough to project, man. But let's the Broncos are doing a little projection as well. Let's talk about, since we've been talking about Patrick Mahomes, let's switch it all over to our quarterback, man. Once again, things are looking good again. Jody, it's been the seesaw of, is Bo Nix in peril? Is the Denver Broncos beginning of the season in peril with the potential injury and setbacks to Bo Nix, or is he on track and is he ready to go? Well, at last word from Sean Payton, he said, man, you guys might see him here in a couple weeks, as you know, they're going to have to hold back the reins, and he's raring to go and ready to go out there and hit the field, and things are looking fantastic, Jody. So at least from the Broncos side of things, as we look for that week 1 matchup, our quarterback at last, you know, call looking pretty dang good, and expected to see him through a lot of activities, especially when it comes to training camp.
Yeah, and I've said for a while, I think a lot of people are making a mountain out of a molehill here. Whether Denver's just saying it or not, this sounds, from everything I've heard and read, was a procedure that they wanted to go clean up, and they want to get it done now. I mean, he could have played probably through the season and done it next off season. They just wanted to get it taken care of, and I'm fine with that. I'm not worried one bit. And I don't think Denver's worried one bit, because they have brought in no veteran quarterback, and I say that with Nathan Peterman here. I'm not worried about that. They've done nothing at the quarterback position to make you think that they are worried in the slightest.
Yeah, he talked a little bit about Nathan Peterman. He also talked about Kurt Warner's kid a little bit as well. He was really kind of impressed with him. You know, it'd be interesting if they bring somebody back. They liked what Nathan Peterman brought in as far as being able to run an offense, you know, and he's like, you know, he just was working in Kansas City, and then he came right to us. Not that we're trying to like take any information from Kansas City. I think he was just saying that he's like, you know, hey, he's out there, he's in rhythm, he's working, he's processing, you know, offenses. He understands things, rather than trying to put a rookie out there or an undrafted free agent quarterback out there, and you're trying to get looks from other guys, and he can't huddle up the huddle, you know. So that's one of the things that Nathan Peterman brought. Now, let's face it, man. I still think there's going to be big competition as far as backup for the Denver Broncos. I don't think we're holding steady when it comes to Jarrett Stidham just, you know, signing off on that backup role. It'll be interesting as we go through OTAs, as we get into training camp, and we really see maybe that backup quarterback position start to play itself out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially last year, it was pretty much in cement. Stidham as the backup, and he wanted to go on with all the traits that Stidham brings. And this year, he has been very non-committal to that. He is nothing. And I think that's all based off of, I mean, he talked Stidham up as high as you can for that AFC title game. And other than the touchdown pass, what a dud it was. So, and they're paying him a lot of money for a backup. So, and I think they like the loyalty of Sam Ehlinger. I mean, he could have left last year. He got offered other spots on 53s, and he could have left. But they like the development of Sam Ehlinger, and I'm good with that because with competent quarterback play, even with Bo being hurt, you are in the Super Bowl the way your defense played that game. So,
agreed, my friend. Well, they did get all the rookies together. It was just about everybody was there and present. They brought in some undrafted free agents. They worked them out. I mean, really, it's just for the most part, it's a walkthrough type of situation. But at the same time, they got a few good looks, and they got some looks at some players that they drafted. They got some looks at some guys they drafted last year. So let's talk about those two guys that were really the headlines there, man. Let's talk first about Caleb Lohner, man. Out of nowhere, Sean Payton getting pretty excited about Caleb Lohner and what he did between last year and this year, and the way that he came into this rookie minicamp as a kind of a veteran participant. How excited should we be about Caleb Lohner?
I would say excited. I think there's a real battle probably after Ingram and Troutman. I think those two guys are kind of locked in just because of the contracts and what they're getting paid. After that, probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 if you want to throw Nate Atkins in there as a tight end / fullback. I think that's all up in the air. I've always kind of wondered as little production as they got from the tight end room last year. You couldn't find a way to dress Lohner and use him in certain situations down in the red zone or something, throw him the ball, some jump balls, something. So I don't know if it was a development thing or we don't trust rookies or what it was, but I mean, it's only going to help Denver if, he's taken that next leap and he's ready to be tight end number 3 or however that plays out. I think between him and Jolie and Dallin Bentley, I think that's going to be a heck of a battle. I mean, Kroll's in there. I think he's probably on the outside looking in just because of where they've drafted some guys. And then, like I said, Nate Atkins, he's a wild card. And I don't know. I mean, they seem to like him a lot. He's a kind of a jack of all trades. So it's going to be a wild battle there. Who wins that 3, 4, possibly even 5 if they keep 5 tight ends?
It's crazy, man. That tight end room all of a sudden has gotten stacked up and deep and at a place that, we brought a few guys in that Sean Payton knew in the past. And, we always had a guy kind of rotating in, call it Greg Dulcich, call it Evan Ingram. But now all of a sudden, man, Caleb Lohner comes in. You have Sean Payton all excited about him. He's a 6'7", 260 guy that he said, you know what, the guy's got some blocking ability more than most people would give him credit for, or at least alluded towards that. Obviously he's got the hands, as they call them, hamburger helper hands, as big as that dang guy is. But so, I mean, he's excited about him, but like you said, man, Dallin Bentley, Justin Jolly, a couple guys that you've brought in to the Denver Broncos just this year, and on top of bringing like your entire tight end room back from last year. There's going to be massive competition, but it's exciting to have Caleb Lohner at least hear or see that he's taken that kind of step forward, the development from that basketball player into football. It's what Sean Payton likes. He's done it before. And if you can insert this guy into this offense, I think there's an opportunity. We've seen the slow progress that Sean Payton has taken with some players. Maybe it's a Caleb Lohner year.
I was going to say, we've seen him take another basketball player and turn him into pretty elite tight end. So,
yep. Pretty elite are our friends that are coming in, like Ernie Mays. Good to see you, Ernie Mays, coming in over on Facebook. Hello, Keith and Jody. Go Broncos country only. Ernie, we were already getting predictions on the Broncos Monday Night Football game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. So Man, if you have one, I was saying, man, if Ernie Mays was in here, we'd be talking all about predictions right about now. I got Michael Ronquillo coming in, just letting us know that it was Benjamin Albright over on his good old X account leaking out that the Broncos are getting a home game on Christmas Day, and that should be pretty fun. Like I said, I don't know. For me, it's one day I know that I'm going to be off home, not having to do anything, and if the Broncos can play as well, I know it's not necessarily fair to the athletes, the coaches, the staff. They probably don't like it a whole ton, but for me personally, gotta love myself a little Broncos on Christmas Day, especially when they bring home the win.
Yeah, that's 2 years in a row now. So
That's wild. That's wild. Peter coming in. So there should be a competition for every position on the team. Nobody should feel comfortable or be complacent. Uh, even Sean Payton was talking about in his presser about just the level of competition that they've had. Especially at the skill positions, and there is a lot of competition. Another place I think there's going to be a lot of competition. Peter, we're going to talk about this right now. Is the other guy that kind of really stood out when it came to this rookie minicamp, or at least the one that got a little bit of press, I guess you could say. That was Jonah Coleman, man. Jonah Coleman coming in there and looking good, and Sean Payton talking about the fact that not only can he be a third down back as far as a receiver and be that first and second down back, but he also likes his blocking ability, even with a smaller stature. Jody, it feels like this might be the year. We just got done talking about tight end. Also, when it comes to running back, where we finally might see like kind of a big shakeup with some names that have been there in the past, with the additions that we continue to put into this team. It seems like at some point, I guess the shoe will fall. But Jonah Coleman comes in here looking good. Got to be happy about that.
yeah, but I like everything about him. I mean, I've said he's J.K. Dobbins 2.0, the way they run, what they do pass blocking wise. He should be your third down back, if not day one in camp, pretty quick. And then I don't think it'll be very long that he's pushing RJ Harvey for RB2. Um, just because what he brings, he's a patient runner. He can run up the middle. He does a lot of things well, and that's a little. I mean, like I said, he reminds me of J.K. Dobbins a lot. So,
Yeah, I agree. Vic's kind of just rewinding just a little bit. Jody, he's loving double dipping on the double dipping on the tight end in the draft. I don't know why that got all tied up, but it did. Vic, I liked it too, man. At some point, I think we're moving on from Evan Ingram sooner rather than later. I think he'll have this year, and then we will wave goodbye to Evan Ingram, and we need some talent. We hope it's a guy like Caleb Lohner, but Phil's just a little bit concerned. Phil McLaughlin coming in on Facebook. Thank you, Phil, for supporting the show. He says, I just don't want to see Lohner turn into great Dulcich. I had much hope for Dulcich, 100 stars. Phil, thank you so much, man. Like I said, it's been a little bit tough tracking that, and we're going to maybe work to get that situated maybe here in the near future. But that being said, I appreciate you letting me know that you're coming in, dropping some stars. The one thing that I'll say with this, man, at least Caleb Lohner has not seen the injury bug, the concerns when it comes to his feet and learning how to run and all this other, Greg Dulcich had a tough, beginning to his career when it came to the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos stuck with him about as long as I think they possibly could. In the end, they part ways, but I think Caleb Lohner is more of an up trajectory. It's just whether he can grasp it all and whether he can, be that guy that they can count on when asked within a game. Like Jody said, Jody, I think you're exactly right. Creating packages for Caleb Lohner is the way to do it.
I agree. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised that they couldn't find a way to get him on the field last year, especially with the non-production of really all your tight ends. I think you had three, like I heard today, 3 touchdowns all year from your tight ends. No Ingram had one. I think Nate Atkins had one against the Jets, and those were the 2 I remember right off, but I couldn't think of the third one. Um,
Yeah.
so really no production per se from the tight ends. I mean, Ingram had, kind of a big game against against the Commanders on Monday Night Football, but that you couldn't just find a way to just do something with him, a 50-50 ball or something.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Going back to our conversation, I did want to talk about Jonah Coleman in one other way, man. I just wonder how quickly he ascends, and this is how big I feel about Jonah Coleman. I think he could ascend all the way to that number one position. J.K. Dobbins is going to have his run this year, but beyond this year, we don't know what's going to happen with J.K. Dobbins. If the Denver Broncos move beyond J.K. Dobbins after this year, I seriously, I'm not just going to hand it to R.J. Harvey. I feel like Jonah Coleman is in instant position to be competing for that number one spot. You hope that R.J. Harvey takes that next step, kind of like we saw Caleb Lohner and what Sean Payton talked about him. We need that a little bit from R.J. Harvey as well if he's going to be competing for that number two position. Because right now, Jonah Coleman is sitting in the bird seat. The what is that called again? The catbird seat? I can't.
The catbird seat.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, he's sitting in prime position. Let's just put it that way. He's sitting in prime position to be backing up J.K. Dobbins, and I think there's a lot of excitement about him. I just also wanted to say hello to Glenn Ashley really quick before I got too far away. He's saying good afternoon. Keith, Jody, Posse, and Juicers. He's giving us mile high salutes and praise and handshakes and orange and blue hearts, and he's got a cowboy in there. And no, it's good to see you, Glenn. Thanks so much for coming in and rocking with us this evening, man. Anything else that you want to talk about there, man?
No, I think you touched well on them. By Jonah Coleman's the one that I'm probably most excited for, because I think at some point he is going to get major touches in this offense, and I'm excited for that, because that's the one thing when Dobbins went down last year that this team lacked.
Yeah, you're right, man. Not only the blocking, but just the north-south that I think that Jonah Coleman will give you. Like Paul saying, he's the kind of runner he loves. He's a big old ball. I always like to. I don't know. It just Maurice Jones-Drew always kind of comes to mind. You know what I mean? Just a guy that's all knees and shoulder pads. That's all you're seeing as he's coming at you. There's no trunk in this guy, man. It's you're going to take a knee, you're going to take a shoulder pad, you're going to take a helmet. Choose? So it's a different type of runner. I don't think the Denver Broncos have had in a while. I've heard people even talk, if you want a Denver Bronco, maybe talk about C.J. Anderson as a comp for what you see in Coleman. And I like that, man. If you look at his stats, they're actually pretty close. One thing I just got to talk about real quick. Let's hit the sponsor break while I have a second. Our sponsor is Morgan Trinkets, and they've been a fantastic supporter of our shows for years now. They've been an amazing retailer. In fact, they've been doing what they've done for over 35 years. What do? Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold, wholesale prices. And they do shows right there in Colorado, and they got a couple of them lined up. I need you guys to get out, stop by, say hello to Pearl, and if nothing else, just see what she has to offer. If you're in Longmont, May 16th and 17th, the Strawberry Festival and Collector Show. Strawberry Festival Collector Show, Longmont. I imagine that's at the fairground. It's May 16th and 17th. And then right after that, if that doesn't work, May 25th, the Red Feather Lakes Craft Show. She'll be there as well. So check out Morgan Trinkets, Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. And if she has any silver left, she was blowing it out at prices that is almost unheard of. So if you want a little bit of silver, and everyone seems like they're looking for gold and silver right about now, why not get it at the best price? See if Pearl has some. Check her out. Like I said, this coming weekend, May 16th and 17th, at the Longmont Fairgrounds Strawberry Festival Collectors Show. Jody, where else? What else we got here, man? Oh, I remember what we want to talk about, man. After this mini camp wrapped up, we did get a couple of guys signed to the roster and let a couple of guys go. Let's talk about the main names. Deuce Vaughn, he was signed to a futures contract, and now no longer a Denver Bronco, but we found somebody to replace him, another skill position guy on the offensive side that you wanted to talk about. Talk about Deuce Vaughn, and then talk about Michael Woods II as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I'm surprised that he never really got a chance, especially when Dobbins went down. I mean, Peyton is loyal to some people, sometimes to a fault. He has been super loyal to Tyler Bidet for little to no production that he brings. I mean, he's good pass blocker, but I mean, Denver needed a spark in the running game, and they they picked Deuce Vaughn up for nothing and didn't even give him a chance. So I was surprised there. And then Michael Woods, he's kind of a veteran wide receiver, bounced around a little bit. Sounds like he kind of impressed, so they signed him to a deal. Mm-hmm. And then Paul Manning, I'll have to do some digging on him, cornerback. I don't really know much about him, but they signed those two guys, released a linebacker and an offensive lineman. So they got a lot of playmakers, and this team's loaded. I think they're in a great position. So,
yeah. Michael Woods, interesting addition. You know, looking at his pro stats, the one thing I would say is his receptions versus target was not as high as I'd like to see. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on if he does ascend on this roster in any way. And I'm just like you, man. Been busy, so haven't looked into Paul Manning a whole lot. Cornerback that was brought in. I know he's a rookie that was brought back. So no experience there. But, you know, continuing to add to this roster. And as Sean Payton says, he never wants to see a guy walk out the door that ends up being on another roster and ends up being a star or ends up shining in any way. You know, it doesn't matter how you get here. You know, it's about what you do once you're here. You know, he said, you know, they're looking at that constantly. And another thing I just wanted to bring up as far as this, as we start getting into really off-season activities here with rookie minicamp, man, don't forget we have new coaches that are in the building and learning as well. You know, yes, Davis Webb is getting a little bit different role, but when it comes to like wide receivers coach, you know, brand new guy out there running the show there as well. So that was brought up in the presser.
Yeah, and that's one of the first coaching positions that they went after was wide receiver. I remember Sean Payton. It's a lot more than just putting your hands in the right direction when you're trying to catch a ball. I think Denver was like number 2 in drops and was almost double the amount of the third place team. So I think that's one of the reasons that there's a new coach here. So
let me just ask an honest opinion, and Posse, feel free to jump in on this one as well, man. Does a coach make that big of a difference? Does a position coach make that big of a difference? Or is it more of a player development thing as a whole?
Well, I think it matters a lot. And if you, good example for me is Garrett Bowles. I mean, look at how he started his season. And when Mike Munchak came, he kind of flipped all that around and, you know, turned him into an all-pro left tackle. And he's taken that and, you know, now we see where he's at. Like I told Trevor the other day, he may be the best left tackle in football. So that, I think coaching matters. I mean, look at Sean Payton as a whole. I mean, this roster was garbage under Nathaniel Hackett and what he was able to do, you know, really in year one. I mean, to get to 8 wins and that type of stuff, I think coaching matters a lot. So
I agree, man. I just had to throw it out there, maybe be a little bit of a devil's advocate. You know, I see what, you know, like a guy like Zach Strief, what he's been able to come in here, do with that offensive line. That offensive line, I think, outperforms what a lot of analysts would have expected. I mean, you got to figure what Garrett Bowles has turned into and continued to develop. Like you said, you look at Garrett Bowles at the beginning of his career versus the end of his career, and I think that's only been continued with a guy like Streif, and obviously we have a great left tackle, right tackle situation, but those interior guys, the Quinn Miners, the Ben Powers, you know what I mean? I love that. I love the development. I love the coaching that Sean Payton has put on this staff and continues to morph as needed. Whether that be because guys are leaving for better and different opportunities, or whether we just need to get better in particular situations, he continues to evolve, and it'll be. I'm hoping for that wide receiver coach to be the next one we could really kind of nail, because it seems like that's been more of a revolving door than anything.
And I'm hoping Sean Payton stepping back from calling plays where he's just focused, mainly with the quarterback and getting plays in and different things, that he can, do the more CEO type thing, and he can spend one day with just the wide receivers, and the next day he can go spend it with the defensive backs or pass rushers and that type of stuff. And I hope that helps. I hope it helps, but I also think it will help. I think that was the next progression with this team. Sean Payton, he's turned the culture around. He's done everything there. The offense was kind of hit or miss, and this little tweak, and I think allowing him to, well, like I said, spend one day maybe with just the wide receivers, maybe one day just with the running backs. He can be in all the different meetings, that type of stuff. So I think that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, and Sean, was kind of asked about how his role was different. He said, typically at this time of year, his role wouldn't be a whole lot different. He's like, a lot of times I've already handed off the play calling to other people. He's like, you've seen that in the past, so that's already a part of the repertoire. He's like, I think this is where Sean Payton really gets the ability to be a coach and not just an offensive coordinator. He went over the fact that he's able to go out there and just look at a guy and say, does he understand it? Is he coachable? If he's coachable, does he progress? You know what I mean? What's his overall talent level? You know what I mean? All of this stuff that he can just look across the field at and not have to worry about being in the huddle, calling the plays, figuring out how Bo's doing, figuring out how the offense is running. He can just look at the players on the field in general. And like you said, maybe concentrate in on particular position groups as it goes, man. Jody, wanted to probably put a last call out here for any thoughts and questions, but it did look like we had a question coming in from Glenn that I wanted to get to. And I had it all lined up here. So, there we go. Keith, Jody, thoughts on the opener in KC? Apologies if you addressed it. This was my chosen opener. No better way to put everyone on notice. Bring Mahomes back to your peril. Bring Mahomes back at your peril. Is this the ultimate opener for the Denver Broncos? I know that you said maybe you would potentially like this to be a home opener for the Denver Broncos where they deserved it. Is that the only change you would have here?
Well, kind of two things. I think they kind of earned a home opener, but I like this game because I don't think Patrick Mahomes, whether he plays or doesn't, he won't be 100%. And I think that's advantage Denver. Get them when he's not at his best. So, and get that game out of the way. And like you said, I hadn't really thought about it, but I 100% agree. That leaves Denver, Kansas City later in the season. That's at your place. So, and I was at the last Kansas City Bronco game, and that's as loud as I've ever seen it, and that mattered. And you could see it affect getting plays in for Kansas City, and you could see them winded and different things. So that all matters. So that's huge for me.
Sure is, man. It not only was it the loudest that Jody's ever seen that Broncos stadium, when he checked in, it was the biggest smile I've ever seen from Jody. I mean, like literally, that took up your face. You look like Cheshire Cat, my friend. And you should, man. That was an amazing game to watch, an amazing game to go to, and that place was absolutely rocking. It never gives it justice, but that TV was having, it was struggling trying to keep up with how loud that crowd was. Let's put it that way, man. So it was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
But the only other thing that, Glenn, that I would say, and I'm just a big Broncos, Raiders, Monday Night Football. I mean, I've been calling for that to be a Halloween or esque game, on the schedule. There was something about Broncos, Raiders, and I would have taken that as even an away game versus the Raiders to open up as well, another AFC West opponent that I might want to just go ahead and take care of while they're still trying to get their feet underneath them, while they're still trying to figure things out, and then be able to welcome them home later. That's the only change I think I would have done. Scroll down, see if I have any additional thoughts or questions before we get out of here. Final call, everybody. But I'm not seeing a whole lot, man. So, any final thoughts from you, man?
If we got just a few more minutes, I did have one thing. I did see a question put out today. If you can only sign one of two guys, which one are you signing? Riley Moss at 3 years, $55 million, or Jaquan Millen 3 years, $48 million?
I'll give you my
you
opinion,
go first.
man. Yeah, I'll give you my thoughts because I saw that that post you put it back in the messenger, this afternoon. I think I'll still go with Riley Moss because I think Jahdae Barron taking over from McMillan is a better solution. I mean, I just don't want to mess with what works. I think there's a reason we're one of the top defenses is because of Riley Moss, and we don't give him enough credit. And if I had to, I know that Jaquan McMillan absolutely shined and outdid himself 1 year to the next and was that training camp to season star in 25. But I would probably go. I'm a Riley Moss fan. I think if you can get two number one cornerbacks basically on the field, you're in an elite situation. And I'm not saying that Riley Moss is another number one. Maybe he is on another roster, but that's about as close as you get. I would go Riley Moss. Maybe unpopular opinion. You, my friend.
And I either way, I wouldn't be mad. I just have said for a while, Jaquan, last year, he was not your best corner, but last year he played like your best corner. He made impact plays. If it wasn't for him, you don't beat Buffalo. Just that one play alone. He just makes plays back there. I think he's the best slot corner in football. And for as high as you drafted Jahdae Barron, for as high as you drafted Jahdae Barron, I would think that he could play outside. He played outside at Texas. He was kind of a Swiss Army knife all over in the secondary, but I would think he could play there. I mean, I've heard different people say if you drafted him that high and the role was for him only to play slot corner, then you way overdrafted him because that's not a true starter. However you want to look at it, I mean, really he's a starter 70-80% on the field, but
yeah,
that high he should be able to play outside. So
yeah,
that would be my only thing. But if you go with Riley Moss, just like you said, he gets a lot of balls thrown his way because of what's on the other side. He's got the best corner in football on the other side. He was profiled last year. There were just some straight up garbage calls, holding, whatever, that were just straight garbage calls. So I don't know what else you can call.
Yeah.
Did he get handsy at times? He did, and there were some that were bad. But when he decided to put the boxing gloves on and use that where he couldn't hold and practice and some different things, he is a good cornerback. I mean, he's going to give up passes. He's going to give up receptions. All cornerbacks do. But for the amount of passes that are thrown his way, that's why I've said for a while I almost would have just tried to trade one of them in the offseason just because I just can't see them being able to re-sign both of them if for those kind of deals, or you're letting some big time guys go at some other positions, possibly on your own line, some other positions. So, but whatever way they decide, I wouldn't complain about. But if I had to pick one, it would be Jaquan McMillan, just because I think he makes more impact plays, and that's not a knock on Riley Moss because it's still an impact play if you bat the ball down. But he just, to me, he just makes incredible impact plays that turn the game.
Yeah, it's not an easy decision. It's not one the Denver Broncos necessarily want to make. It's probably the reason that they're both still back and they haven't been moved on from, like you were talking about. They feel like they're set and they're loaded, but they'll have some big decisions to make. Paul wants to know, though, what we think about the Chargers getting David Njoku. That was a guy that everyone talked about potentially coming to the Denver Broncos pre-draft. Thought it might be a potential post-draft when we didn't know what was going to be happening during the draft. But, made some additions, obviously, through the draft. Do you like Njoku? Are you afraid of him with the Chargers? Did we miss it out in any way? Did we take a wrong turn and not turning to David Njoku as an option at tight end? What are your thoughts, my friend?
I don't really like the fact that he went to an AFC West team, but I'm not sure what they're doing there. I mean, they had Rondé Gatson, kind of come on at the end of the season and take over that number one. They had Tyler Conklin, who I thought was going to do more there, and he really didn't do anything. So does David Njoku kind of fall into that same where he doesn't do anything there? He's a good blocker, and I mean, we all know Harbaugh's run the ball first. So, getting both their tackles back along with a solid blocking tight end can't hurt.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't necessarily like that he's going to a AFC West division opponent. Njoku and Isaiah Likely are kind of like, we're two peas in the same pod. And I like them both as far as what they bring as a skill set receiving wise. Now, Njoku, I think, gives up quite a bit when it comes to blocking, but that's not what you're looking for anymore. You're one or the other. If you're really good at both, then you're elite. It's simple as that. So you're usually picking your poison, and Njoku, I think, if he can be showcased, could bring a lot to the table. Hopefully not a lot when we match up against the Chargers. All right, man. I'm going to call it, man. Final thoughts before we get out of here. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Anything you need to anything you're excited about or anything you want to talk about, go right ahead, Jody, and then we'll get on out of here, my friend.
The more everyone talks about it and what you brought up, I'm excited that they get Kansas City week 1, get that out of the way early in the season, get Mahomes when he's not 100%. Then I'm excited to see what the rest of the schedule looks like tomorrow. It sounds like bye week 10, so that kind of falls right in the middle again. I like that. Then I'm excited to see, because I'd like to see this put to rest. Hopefully Bo can throw in some OTAs come June time, and he can put all this to rest that he's not going to be ready and stuff. Just put this to rest and put that behind everything.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Denver's gotten all on the same page of this was, I mean, there's no how they were fighting in the offseason, with the ankle. They're all saying the same thing now, and I like that. So I think they've all gotten in the room and this is what we're gonna say, and so I'm good with that. So there's no back and forth. And then I'm ready for football to start. This team is, I thought they were last year. There were many that thought it was this year. If you but they're in Super Bowl mode now. They are a complete team. I don't really see any glaring holes on this team, and I'm excited to see what this team can do and what Davis Webb can do calling plays and how that helps us offense.
Big thank you to everyone who's jumped on, been a part of this show. Michael Ronquillo, Phil McLaughlin. I know that Phil dropped from some stars for sure.
Yes, Avs in overtime. Sorry.
And the Avs won in overtime. Anybody that's wondering in the final stretch here. But that being said, man, thank you all for supporting the show, man. Coming in here, comments, supporting us, supporting what we do here, covering your Denver Broncos football team. We appreciate you coming in here, sticking with us during the offseason. Sometimes conversations can be a little bit tougher. It's all year round here at the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. And Clayton, always coming in here and reminding us, hey, guys, like that, smash that like and share. We appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification button. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Can't wait to see you again. Over here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, remember, we have the Juice football show. We have the Denver Bronco Roundup football show. We're doing things left, right, and otherwise. Make sure to tune in. If you're hitting that subscribe button, you'll never miss an episode. But we're going to get out of here like we always do, Jody. We're going to keep our boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and, of course, Denver Broncos in your heart. Until next episode, everybody, take care. Go Avs, I guess, as well.